Alright, imagine this. You go buy the newest Madden, start a game, and halfway through it, it glitches and turns to The Last of Us. And that's exactly how I felt watching Vinland Saga. A true roller coaster experience, to say the least. But I just can't tell if it's a good one or not. That's why I decided to make this video, to talk about an anime that left me the most emotionally confused I've ever been since finding out Pito was a dude. One more thing before we get started. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe. Gotta get YouTube to promote my vids. Road to 1,000 subs. But that's all. Hope you guys enjoy. Alright, a little summary for Vinland Saga for those who haven't seen it in a while. The story starts off with Thorfinn and his father living peacefully. Then one day, a band of Vikings attack, which leads to Thorfinn's father being killed in front of him and him stowing away on his father's killer ship, vowing revenge against them. Then the story follows him being dragged along from battlefield to battlefield by the Vikings who kill his father. While in the midst of these battles, he constantly honing his skills. But then he eventually gets tricked into working for the very man who gave the order to kill his father. And along the way, they meet a prince who I'll admit I don't really care for at all, to be honest with you, and I find them boring. But other than that, some more stuff happens, and the man who killed Thorfinn's father, the subject for Thorfinn's rage, and his only motivation and goal in life was to kill him. That man was killed right in front of him by another person, leaving him an empty shell of himself. Then season 2 picks back up after a time skip in which we're now following this dude and Thorfinn becoming slaves, then being forced to chop down a forest and turn it into farmland for their owner in exchange for their freedom. But one thing leads to another. The farm plantation that they're on gets thrown into complete chaos, and Thorfinn and his friend escape to his home island. And I know I didn't go into too much depth, especially for season 2, because I want those who haven't seen the show to really experience that roller coaster experience that I did. And if you had seen the show, why you crying at me? I didn't review it all the way. You seen the show? What, you got dementia or something? But back to the topic. Now, to talk about the show, I first want to start off by readdressing my game analogy I just made by saying, yeah, The Last of Us is cool. Like, it's a great game, but you know, sometimes I just want to play Madden. I just want Madden to be Madden. And to bring it back to the show, sometimes I just want the action to be the action. You started off, you led with the action. I want the action. I just want some more action. And don't get it wrong, I don't mind a story-based show. I mean, look back at my top anime of all time. One Piece is #1. A heavily story-based show. I don't really mind a story-based show. But then if you look at my second on the list, JJK, a show that pushes the story more so to the background in exchange for more cooler moments, cooler fights. I love that too. Now, the way Vinland Saga approached this show was they hooked you in with like a JJK style in season 1 with a more action based, push the story to the back line. Now, he didn't push the story as far into the background like a JJK. Like, the story was still kind of prominent, but it wasn't really too focused. The clear focus of season 1 was its action. Now, a little side note, watching season 2 for the first time, saying I wasn't a fan was putting it mildly. I kind of hated it in its entirety. Now, for those who saying you just don't understand the story, it's a complex story, the theme just goes over your head. Dog, I understand the story, it's just I didn't like it. Emphasis on didn't like it. It's acceptable now. I mean, I watched it 3 separate occasions. One, I watched season 1 when it first came out, then I watched season 2 when it first came out, didn't like it. Watched season 1 and season 2 to see if it like flowed together. Still didn't like season 2. Gave it some time. Watched season 2 separately, like when season 1 is fresh, like completely out my head, and just watched it with like some fresh eyes. I mean, I enjoyed it, not gonna lie. But then again, I watched season 1 and season 2 together, and my opinion on season 2 dropped a little bit again. Now, it didn't drop like it used to. Like, I completely couldn't stand season 2 and like it's the worst abomination to humanity. I just now felt like once I watched them together, I feel like, all right, season 2, it's cool. It's definitely a drop off. I don't care what anybody says. It's definitely a drop off. And for those saying that will keep saying that you just didn't understand the theme is not complex. It's not complex at all. It's not even original. The theme is pursuit of revenge he did all these atrocities, and then once his revenge is quote unquote resolved, or like the subject of his revenge is gone out the picture, he left with remorse and horror of what he did in pursuit of his rage, and it turns into a complete pacifist. And this is not original. I'm pretty sure another person that came into your head outside of Vinland Saga when I was just making that description, like Endeavor from My Hero, or Eren from Attack on Titan, and even Kurapika when he thought the Phantom Troupe was dead. All characters who dealt with the exact same theme as Thorfinn, and I thoroughly enjoyed those character arcs. It just Vinland Saga's execution on showing that theme that I have a problem with. And when watching season 2, it gave me strong vibes on a show that executes this exact same scenario. This exact same scenario puts the same focus on this exact same scenario of the MC going from badass to a pacifist, and does it in an infinitely better way in Rurouni Kenshin. And to do a quick comparison on the shows, they're kind of basically the same, especially now that I just found out, or previously just found out, that season 1 of Vinland Saga is supposed to be an epilogue. Is damn near the same show at this point. Rurouni Kenshin had an epilogue of Ronin being a badass, doing all this killing, leading to the point where he sees his wife die, and he is broken. He left as an empty shell and vows to never kill again, similar to Thorfinn. As season 1 follows his adventures, being a killer, cold heart killer, seeing his motivation for his rage. Then in the end of season 1, he's left as an empty shell with nothing left to strive for. Both executed that part fantastically, 10 out of 10 both ways. But then when their paths diverge is when they show the different ways of pacifism. Both let himself be beaten up, but in Kenshin's case, he still shows hints of his character in season 1. So even when he's being a pacifist, he's still entertaining to watch. Thorfinn, on the other hand, is boring. He's boring. And when he's not doing cool stuff or pining at his revenge for Askeladd, he's a boring character. He doesn't have really too much personality. He makes a kind of a joke here and there, but he's a boring character, or has a boring personality. Now I know I just slandered season 2 for a little while, just talked bad about it, but it doesn't do everything horribly. Outside of its core theme with Thorfinn suffering from PTSD, I feel like it executed everything else around him beautifully. Like, I love the duality of the slave owner. His name is escaping me right now, but how everyone sees him, or his reputation was kind of like his first son being an undefeatable warrior who lives for the carnage, but in reality he's more like his second son, a coward, always tries to avoid conflict. I love how they didn't just do it like a twist, like a One Punch Man with King, like everybody thinks he's powerful, then they just switch to him being a weakling. No, they drop subtle hints that implies he was a weakling before completely showing you he was a weakling, instead of just it coming out of nowhere. Like when he was scared to punish the children who stole from him, he did his best to like maneuver out of the way with, try to make the punishment less harsh. Then when they finally showed him crying in the female slave's lap, finally showing us that in fact what they were hinting at is true, that he is a coward, he is scared of all that. And I felt like that was done beautifully. And I know I talked about the prince in season 1, I didn't care about him. In season 2, he was kind of a badass. First, when he pulled up to whoever he was warring with, I can't think of his name either, but whoever he was warring with, and he lit those fires and be like, that's what war be like. This is a cool moment. That was a fantastic moment, probably one of the better moments in the entirety of the season. Then I also love when he did that plot, or when his faction orchestrated that plot to take over the farm plantation. I think that was done beautifully. I love that scene as well. I also like that it gave us a hint of the old Thorfinn when he fought the bandit leader. Here we go. Thorfinn's progressing as a character. He's finding a way for his pacifism and his old ways to merge into a non-killing style. Again, like Rurouni Kenshin. But when the fight actually happened, it was kind of disappointing, not gonna lie to you. It's like playing Baldur's Gate 3 on PlayStation 2 graphics. Yeah, it's a good game, got good mechanics, but it's just not the same. It's like, what happened to the game I love? You know what I mean? To recap a little bit, basically, in season 2, when the story didn't focus on the main character, Thorfinn, the season is actually good. Not calling Thorfinn a horrible character right now. I mean, no, he was a broken shell for most of the series. Then he started to get light back towards the end of the season. But for the majority of the season 2, he was just a boring character. I know he dealt with the PTSD, but he just wasn't too interested in this season. And I just found myself loving the moments away from him way more than the moments of him being on screen. Which is kind of telling for me to say that about the main character, that the show gets better when he's not on screen. But overall, if it was a season 3, I probably would still watch it, because I kind of like season 1, was kind of down or a little iffy on season 2, so I guess a third season would be like a tiebreaker to see like what direction they're gonna take Thorfinn, the main character of the story, and to see if they're gonna be like flesh his character out more, give him real personality, as opposed to him, if he's not doing cool shit, he just there, for lack of a better word, he just a character that you spend time with. But if it's not a season 3, I'm not gonna be mad at it either. Like I said, I wasn't a fan of where the story was going, so I'm just fine cutting it off with one good season 1 and one average to okay season 2, and just cutting all ties with Vinland Saga. You couldn't pay me, you probably could pay me. You had to pay me a exorbitant amount of money to read that manga. But that's all I have for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a comment on what you guys thought of Vinland Saga season 2, because I already know what you think of season 1. It's gas. Also hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed. But other than that, have a blessed one.